Welcome to Positive Partners. On this edition, we're going to continue on from last month's episode about training and where to get started and some tips and things. And we have a video that goes in the middle of the program that kind of condenses it all. So stay tuned. Glad you could stay with us, and
Hi.
We're going to hit some training tips with Tom High School,
Right,
Karen Pryor Academy.
yeah, graduate. And Mike,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dog enthusiast.
right, volunteer,
Yeah.
dog photographer for getting dog adoptions.
I don't do that as much anymore.
Okay, right.
They're sending them out to breed type rescues.
Oh, okay, right,
So they're not adopting as many into the community,
okay,
but they're going to breed, if it's a boxer, goes a boxer rescue or something like that.
yeah,
But I do pet portraits.
right.
Yeah.
Is that part of a business that you have? Or, yeah, that's a
Yeah,
great,
I do photography and
great-
video.
yeah, that's fun. That's
So
fun.
we'll set up
Good
and
memories.
invite people in and shoot dogs for half the day, which
Yeah,
is fun.
oh, great, yeah, sounds like a day to me,
Yeah.
yeah,
And shoot pictures of dogs, not shoot dogs.
right. And
Got to clarify that sometimes.
yeah, right.
Poe. Yeah, I got a dark sense of humor.
Yeah, right. Well, when you work in rescue, you see a lot, so you got to find a way to keep
Right.
keep your
There's
you
been
know,
some
keep
horrible
things
stories
up.
I've seen.
Yeah, right. And on that point, there are lots of dogs throughout the country, and training is a big help to keeping dogs out of shelters. A lot of
Right, because
what
it's
gets
usually a
dog
year and a
injuries-
half, 2
yeah.
years old.
right.
They haven't trained them.
Right.
Now they've
Now they're
developed
big
some
and they've
sort of-
gotten habits.
Right.
Right.
They haven't been well socialized, which
Right, that too.
number one,
Yes.
socialize your dog with other dogs
Right.
and all kinds of people from kids to adults
Right,
and
and-
old people and males and females.
Yeah.
Socialize for
Right.
that first year.
Well, right. You start off, that critical period is
Mm-hmm.
from about 8 weeks until about 14 weeks. So it's a really short period developmentally where dogs have that window where they get their initial
This is
view
where
of
I
what's normal.
learned about the world.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the world, the rest of the time I'm alive, I'm judging it by that first.
There we go. That's a really good way to say it. And with all of our dogs, I think in this video you'll see that, of course, training helps, just like anything. If you're learning golf, or I don't know, or none of us really, not too many of us taught ourselves to drive entirely by ourselves. So it helps to have someone there who's knowledgeable at your side to kind of guide you along and go through a progression. But on the other hand, there are situations where people do not have sufficient money or to get to training, or they need to get a start without, it's too far away to get a start or something. So anyway, how I feel about it is that dogs and their owners deserve an opportunity to get a start, to get a foundation for training that's going to help have them have the lives they want together, and a foundation for training. And this video gives you the tips, the foundation, and then with the topics that are there, you can go to my website, Pawsitive Partners, or Positive Experiences Training, once I get that website going. And I'm going to have a lot of resources for people who will train with me and people who need to train on their own. And this video is part of that. And there are a number of success-based trainers that do try to get information out to people so that they can be really informed consumers and get the best start with their dogs. And you know, you can learn golf, or you can learn tennis, or you can learn sewing or cooking or any number of skills off of video, and you can get a decent start. To really make it easier, it helps to have a coach there, someone's experienced. But I think that
because there's certain maybe body language that the trainer will pick up and you won't.
Yeah, if
you don't know dogs real well, you'll miss some stuff.
And there's a thing in here about body language as well too, and that's really true. We miss or misinterpret a lot of dog body language.
But you know, as far as bad behavior in dogs, you know, chasing things or whatever, with training, you can fill them up with good habits. And you know, where one dog might chase after a cat, and the well-trained dog may chase after the cat, but when you say, get back here, they will come back.
Right, right.
Because you filled them up with good habits and listening. The other one's going to say, I want the cat more.
Right, right, yeah. And in terms of, we'll touch on this, that's one of the 3 Ds, a distraction. A cat, a temptation, something a dog would ordinarily go after, squirrel. Yeah, is a distraction, and so you train with distractions as part of your program. So if you're going to teach your dog to focus on you when there's a cat around, you do that when the cat's kind of far away, which is using well, anyways, it's using distance. Which
I feel real good about Oliver because he can chase about anything, and I'll just go, hey. You know, look back, it's like, oh, sorry, you come back to me.
Right, yeah. And we build that up, and so a lot of training.
It didn't happen overnight.
Yeah, we make part of our daily lives, and that's part of the video here. Is how do you work training into your video life? And something I feel strongly about is that with dogs, I don't want to have the position that you know, that is similar, and this is a real strong belief of mine, similar to healthcare in so many ways that, you know, it's like I've done a walletectomy. I have done an examination of your wallet, and you don't have enough to pay me, so too bad for you and your dog, or too bad for you and your health. I think that people who care about their animals and their relationship with their animals deserve an opportunity to do what they can. And so this video is a part of that step. And for people that'll train with me or with another success-based trainer, understanding what's in this video is going to help you from the very beginning to get the very most out of training, because it's going to make sense for you. You're going to say, oh, you see how this fits together. So maybe we can run the video here and
Hi, I'm Tom at Positive Experiences Training. I've made this video for you and your dog. Understanding these basic training tips will guide you to success no matter where you train, if that is here with another success-based trainer or on your own. These tips show you how to get motivation, communication, the behavior you want, and your dog's focus on you and their trust. Let's get going. These steps guide the way to success at Positive Experiences Training. I care very much about humans and their animal companions having the kind of quality lives that they can have together. Just like learning golf, cooking, car repair, sewing, or dance, or learning to drive has a trial and error process. It's the same thing with learning how to teach our animals and them learning for us. Success happens easier with a coach or an instructor there at hand who knows the patterns, how to pace things, and how to problem solve things together. But I believe that everyone who cares about their dog deserves the opportunity to share the kind of life they want to have together. So for both those of you who will train here at Positive Experiences Training and other owners whose dogs are just as valuable to them, Here is a foundation for understanding training. Starting right in with behavior. Behavior happens when it gets what matters. You get that to work for you by connecting something that you want with something that your dog wants. Dogs learn what works for them in specific situations. They learn their behavior routines with specific people, in specific locations, and in specific situations. So they might act very differently with one person one place and another person another place. To tell your dog what behavior you want, give them a right at that time it happens success signal, yes or a click. Make that success signal connection within 1 or 2 seconds by giving your dog some result that matters to them. Your training goals are always what behavior you actually want your dog to do. For problem behaviors, switch out saying, I want my dog to stop whatever the problem is, jumping up, to I want my dog to do some behavior, and it's usually a behavior your dog can't do at the same time as the problem behavior. If you're putting a goal as something a dog that can do when it's sleeping, like not jumping, like not barking, like not getting things off the counter, that's not a training goal. A training goal has to be something that the dog is actually behaving and doing. So instead of saying, I want my dog to stop jumping, you focus on training sitting while greeting. I'm going to show you how to get behavior in the next video and the videos after that, but there are 4 ways. The first is capturing, which is working off a behavior your dog gives naturally. Luring, the second, which is following a treat to position your dog, then you fade the lure or treat out. Targeting, which your dog is touching a part of their body to something like your hand. And then shaping, which is like playing the warmer game and the dog develops a more advanced behavior out of something simple. When we think about how dogs live, how they function, we realize they're visual learners. So we want them to have the visual cue for a behavior first. They read gestures, they read body language. So what we want to do is get the behavior down before we give it a name. Dogs aren't born speaking English or any other verbal language. Use luring, targeting, or whatever to get a sit, down, stand, come before associating that action with the word, for instance, sit. If you think your dog is actually understanding the word, try saying potato and give the visual signal for sit, and chances are good you'll get the sit. Teach a few minutes at a time. A few short times a day is better for learning than wearing your dog's attention span out, and yours also. End training with all done, and then affection or play. Quit while they still want to learn. If you get stuck, end with something your dog can do, and then come back after a good rest. Training takes mental effort, so give your dog quiet or sleep time. Dreaming or resting is how both we and our dogs put together things we just learned. Keep your dog in the game with dog doable steps, where they're getting at more than half the time. To make it simple, train with 5 tries. If 2 of them in a row are wrong, drop back a half a step. Make it a little easier. If you get 3 out of 5 right, then give it 1 more try there at that next 5 tries there. If they stay at just 3, then drop back half a step. 4 or 5 right out of 5, go up a step. That builds confidence. If your guidance puts your dog in a pattern of failure, though, they'll lose confidence in themselves, and they'll lose confidence in what you ask. Imagine how you would feel if the best you could ever do was half-half, no matter how hard you tried. That wouldn't be cool for anybody. So your dogs pretty much react the same with the same kind of feelings. Use your dog's life rewards to make training a smooth part of your daily routine. These are things you're doing anyway and things your dog wants. You put on a leash when your dog sits. Your dog wants the leash. They want to go. Your dog gets in or out of the door when they wait. They get their food when they're standing quietly or sitting. Use the 3 Ds, which you'll learn more about, and I'll tell you more about and show you. But to strengthen behavior, that's duration, how long you ask for a behavior to last. Distraction, this is what temptations are around and how strong they are when you ask for a behavior. And distance, how far are you away from the dog when you ask for the behavior. When you make 1 D more difficult, make the other 2 Ds easier. Exercise your dog some before training or before going on a walk if they're not good at walking with you. Try games like fetch, tug, chasing a toy on a rope. Now be careful of sharp turns that strain joints if your dog is young. For walking, if you try to tire most energetic dogs out with a walk, you'll be tired long before they are. If your dog's first chance to burn excess energy is when you train, they probably and may not focus well. We talked about dogs being visual. Now their language is visual, it's body language, and it's what they use with other dogs. So watch some videos showing these signals, because a lot of times we miss or misunderstand most of them, especially because they happen quickly or in combinations or sequences. Reading your dog correctly means they can trust your decisions for them. Misreading them by a lot means that you and your dog are out of sync and you won't even know until things are even more off track. Use management if you're caught in a situation your dog is not ready to handle, or you know you're going to be in a situation like that. Management is using the physical environment to keep a problem from spilling out or spilling over and getting worse, or keeping it from even getting kicked off to begin with. So if you don't know what else to do, what you can do always is get your dog at a distance away from the situation where they can cope. Far enough away is where your dog is not locked onto the problem, where they can focus on you and do a simple behavior you request from them. If you see that they can't even take a treat, that's another indication that they're too close. Avoid big problems, and in the meantime, once you've gotten back from them, figure out what and who can help your dog. Keep your dog socialized, or socialize your puppy to be around new people, places, sounds, motions. Read their signals, we were talking about that, and go at their pace. Pushing them in over their heads so that they get used to it can really backfire and reduce their trust in your guidance. There's an 8 to 14 week dog development critical socialization window. If you're a puppy, or previously if your dog hadn't already gotten comfortable with something during that 8 to 14 week period where dogs kind of figure out what's normal in their world or not, they might treat it as something they're worried about. They might even react to it as possibly dangerous. Of course, we want our dogs to like people and to be friendly with them, but your goal is not to have them like everybody, or to pull you to greet every person, place, or pull you to every dog. You want them to stay able to focus on you, follow your directions, and be able to say, yeah, seen that, it's not a big deal. Greeting another person or dog while on leash makes some dogs feel trapped, and they may react defensively. If you are going to greet another dog, ask the other dog owner, is their dog friendly? The only okay answer is 100% dog friendly. If you do greet, make it a 1-1000, 2-1000, good dog, take your dog off to the side, let's go. At 3 or 4 or 5 seconds, things can go sour quickly, because one or both dogs start getting uncomfortable and unsure of how to read each other. Be willing and ready to say, my dog is not comfortable saying hi when on his leash, and give your dog safety so they don't have to give that message themselves. Again, read your dog's signals and get at a distance where they're okay. Letting children run straight to your dog, putting their hands around their head, puts your dog, them, and you on thin ice. Bites, nips to children are often to their faces because of their height. This is little boys are especially at risk for getting bitten. Children move and sound unpredictable, and dogs can be uncomfortable with them if they're not very, very used to them. Be ready to step in front of your dog to keep everyone off thin ice. Serious liability and expense can be involved. A dog bite that is bad enough to go to insurance can be well over $10,000. Teach your dog the wear a muzzle game so your dog likes the idea. That actually can happen. It's no big deal to dogs. This can protect your dog and others if your dog gets injured and needs care. Even the nicest dog can bite when they're in severe pain. If your dog bites, snaps, or gives warnings and you have to have them around others, a muzzle protects everyone, and people will usually give you the space you need. Avoiding putting your dog in situations where they are overwhelmed is a good idea, even when they have a muzzle on. You don't want to make them feel even more anxious. No matter what your dog is communicating, use it to guide you to the best decision for your dog, you, and others. A growl is communication and is your dog's attempt to avoid further conflict. We feel embarrassed and concerned, but if punishment makes growling stop, your dog still feels as on edge as before, probably worse. If you remove a growl, grumble, warning step with punishment, the next time they are in a corner with the problem, they may move to a higher level reaction, and it may look like that reaction came out of nowhere, when what happened was they had to jump from where they were, skipping the warning, to the next level, which nobody wants. A quick word on punishment. I'm not talking about us infrequently getting temporarily frustrated. The American Society of Veterinary Animal Behavior recognizes success, reward-based training as the appropriate foundation for pet training. Punishment easily goes wrong. Too little, and a dog gets used to ignoring it, and then more and more has to be used, and that escalates upwards. Too much, and the dog shuts down, freaks out, can't focus, redirects anger, and then is in worse shape than it was. The foundation has to be first teaching correct responses, and we teach correct responses in situations that are easy with minimum distractions where the dog is able to succeed, and then we build up from there. If your dog is having aggressive or fearful reactions, what is happening has to do with their feelings. Changing emotional responses is not the same thing as teaching sit, down, stay, come. You need a foundation of taught behaviors like that to help manage your dog, but the interventions follow a different set of learning principles. First, though, have your veterinarian examine your dog for any medical problems that can lead into behavioral reactions. For problems that can cause your dog to be really suffering, or which put you, others, or your dog in a high-risk situation, the best quality place to go right off the bat there is to get a consult with a behaviorist at the Veterinary Behavior Clinic at The Ohio State University, 614-292-3551. You can get in there in a reasonable period of time, and they can consult with your veterinarian about medical issues as well when those are potentially complicated. In the United States, your dog has to have a license in most places, but your dog trainer doesn't. Anyone who decides to can call themselves a dog trainer, master dog trainer, or dog rehabilitator. The term behaviorist is most appropriate for board-certified professionals who have advanced veterinary or animal behavior science academic training. To select a qualified person to help you with your dog, I recommend using the guidelines suggested by the American Veterinary Society of Animal Behavior. You can find them at ABSAB, AVSAB, pawsitive.org, how to select a trainer, and those are very good guidelines. 5 minutes 2 or 3 times a day will get training results. Well done.
All right. That's the end of the show.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that summarizes. Watch this video again, because when you look at it again, you'll realize how much good information is packed in there. All those points really are key to successful dog training. None of those is earth-shatteringly, mind-blowingly difficult. A lot of them are, yeah, that makes sense, and the difference is here that I and other people who spend time thinking about training have broken this down to bring out what are the main things that just make this work and flow. Like a lot of training, it's simple, but it's not easy. You know, go back and watch this again if you have the chance to digest it. Watch some YouTube videos. Emily Larlam on Kiko Pup is a good one. Donna Hill at Vancouver Assistance Dogs is another. When my website gets up, Positive Experiences Training, go to the Karen Pryor Academy, Clicker Academy. You'll see a whole bunch of trainers who really are very good. So it was all is get the behavior you want. Dogs behave situationally. Use a success signal. Connect that success signal with something the dog wants, because you've said that something the dog has done is just what you want. Now the dog gets something that matters to them. Build that into your day-to-day routine. There are 4 ways to get behavior: capturing, luring, targeting, and shaping. Dogs are visual learners. They learn visual cues. They're responding to visual signals. If you think that they understand the word sit, and you've taught sit, you've said sit along with giving the visual signal, you can give that visual signal and say potato, and they're still going to sit. So giving a visual cue, giving a verbal cue is another little step, and you can figure that out. Train 5 minutes at a time. Keep dogs in the game. Use life rewards. Use distance, distraction, and duration. Exercise your dogs. Learn their body language. Use management to handle problem situations. Get far away enough that your dog can focus on you, give you a simple behavior, take a treat. If they can't do that, you're too close, get farther away. Keep your dog socialized. We talked about that earlier. With greetings on leash, if your dog might be defensive, if you do a dog greeting, make sure the other dog's 100% dog friendly. Take your dog over, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, good dog, let's go. At 4 or 5 and more seconds, dogs can start reacting and things can go sour. Watch dogs with children, teach them to feel comfortable with a muzzle. Remember, if you punish a growl out, then you've eliminated one of your dog's attempts to communicate. Deal with the problem, and thank you.
Yeah. This doesn't happen overnight. And sometimes I've been with people that expect me to just like, here's the key, done. No, it takes time. So make a good relationship with your dog and you'll be happy, and thanks for watching.
Thank you.